The race for the 2020 presidential election has certainly heated up now that two men have been arrested in Virginia on Thursday outside of the Philadelphia Convention Center. The men, who were armed, had a truck full of fake ballots that they were attempting to sneak into the convention center in order to be counted. The center is one of the places where election workers have been counting votes for the 2020 general election. Antonio LaMotta, 61, and Joshua Marcias, 42, both of Chesapeake, Virginia, were arrested Thursday night outside of the center on suspicion of carrying handguns in Pennsylvania without permits, authorities said. Philadelphia police said they found the men Thursday night after receiving a tip that people with firearms were heading to the Pennsylvania Convention Center in a silver Hummer truck. Officers found a silver Hummer a block from the center, parked and unoccupied around 10:20 p.m. Thursday, about 7 minutes before finding the men, who acknowledged that the Hummer was theirs. Now, police found that both men were carrying loaded handguns as well as AR-type rifles inside of the vehicle. Authorities announced this at a news conference on Friday. Also, 160 rounds of ammunition was found in the truck.
To 2020, the FBI in Norfolk, Virginia received a tip stating that individuals were en route from Virginia Beach to Philadelphia in a silver Hummer truck and were in possession of weapons and ammunition. He had a Beretta .40 caliber pistol under his jacket and a Virginia concealed carry permit. The state of Pennsylvania does not recognize handgun permits issued by Virginia, so he was also taken into custody.
Stickers and a hat with logos of the QAnon conspiracy movement were found in the vehicle, the Philadelphia District Attorney Larry Krasner said. Now, the two men were arraigned Friday night, and the judge set the bail at $750,000 each, and Krasner's spokeswoman Jane Rowe said. They have been charged with a concealed firearm without a license and carrying a firearm on a public street or public property. LaMotta told his work supervisor a few days ago that he needed leave for an assignment in Philadelphia, according to the CEO of the company that employs him. LaMotta works in the Virginia area for Nationwide Investigations and Security, a Houston-based security services firm, according to CEO Alan Holloman and LaMotta's personal website. New information that has come out from further investigations that have not quite hit the mainstream media yet is that both men have been linked to far-right affiliated Virginia State Governor Amanda Chase, a Republican Trump supporter and challenger in the state's next year's gubernatorial election. So both of these men very clearly have been found to be connected to not only just pro-Trump, but pro-conspiracy theory kind of movements in general. Several social media accounts linked to the men were locked as of Friday, but other users posted images from earlier in the year showing LaMotta visible alongside Senator Chase. Some at a series of rallies earlier in the year denouncing current Virginia Governor Notham's COVID-19 restrictions. LaMotta, who bills himself as a private security expert, he has a blog where he called for people to be killed. The entire plot is equivalent to crimes against humanity for causing premeditated deaths, suffering, and economic hardship in combination with the suppression and preventative medications and natural treatments. Killing these people is a legitimate act of self-defense and not a crime. So very clearly what we are seeing is elements of the extreme right that have seemed to have taken a great deal of the narrative of the 2020 election, now attempting to actually place phony ballots inside of the electoral system, as they have repeatedly accused the Democrats of having done. Now, the man in his blog says that Trump cannot possibly lose, election or no, and that Trump should remain in office. It's very disheartening to see this very anti-democratic action by people who claim to be members of the support of democracy in the United States. Now, obviously, these charges are very serious with regards to weapons violations, but there is no word yet as to whether or not the men will be charged with having any attempt to interfere with the election. I mean, clearly, if you go to a place where they count votes with stacks and stacks of phony votes inside of your vehicle and attempting to sneak them into the convention center, it's very clear that this is election interference, and the man should rightfully be charged as such by the proper authorities. How the situation will play out remains to be seen, but for the most part, it now seems that it's very clear that far from this conspiracy theory that the Democrats are using fake ballots to steal the election, we have very much real evidence, real proof that an attempt to do so was actually done by the far right. Reporting from Niagara Falls, Jason Unruhe, MRN.
Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.